I'm Murray Newlands from Open Future Forum.
Where do CFOs get honest AI advice off the record? CFOs get honest AI advice off the record from peers in the same seat, in small private rooms where nothing is recorded and no one is selling. The vendor, the consultant, and the analyst all have an angle. A fellow CFO who already deployed the thing and will tell you what broke does not. That peer exchange is what the CFO Executive Forum is built to create. I'm Murray Newlands, partner at IA Seed Ventures and founder of Open Future Forum, which runs small, off-the-record dinners for CFOs, CROs, CISOs, and CTOs in Silicon Valley. 100 events to date. Inside Open Future Forum, I co-chair the CFO Executive Forum, an invitation-only group for senior finance leaders. Every CFO I know is drowning in AI advice. Every vendor, every consultant, every conference, every post says the same confident words. The hard part is not finding AI opinions. They are free and infinite. The hard part is finding the few that are true and useful for your specific finance organization. So the real question is not where the advice is, it is where the honest advice is, and honesty turns out to be the scarce ingredient. Let me explain why most of the available advice is structurally compromised, because it is not about bad intentions. It is about incentives. The vendor has a product to sell, so their advice points toward buying it. Even a good vendor with a genuinely useful tool cannot give you a neutral read on whether you need it, because their job is to convince you that you do. The consultant has a project to sell, so their advice tends toward a larger engagement. The analyst writes for a broad audience, so the advice is general by necessity and rarely fits your exact situation. The conference stage rewards a confident, broad message that plays to 1,000 people, which is the opposite of the specific hedged truth you actually need. None of these people are lying. They are just answering a different question than the one you are asking because their incentives point elsewhere. Now think about who has no angle. A CFO at a comparable company who already tried the AI investment you are weighing. They are not selling you anything. They spent the money, made the mistake, and learned the lesson, and they will tell you the unvarnished version if they trust you. What it really cost, all in. How long it actually took to pay back, if it did. What broke that the vendor never warned them about. What they would not do again. That account is the single most valuable input a CFO can get on an AI decision, and it is precisely the thing you cannot buy because nobody publishes it, and that is the key point. Honest operator experience is rarely written down. Nobody writes a blog post about the expensive AI mistake they made last quarter. It would embarrass them, it might spook their board, and it gives away hard-won lessons for free. So the most useful AI advice for a CFO is structurally invisible to search engines and reports. It lives only in conversations between people who trust each other enough to be candid. That is not a gap the internet will close. It is a permanent feature of how honest, high-stakes advice works, which tells you exactly where to find it. 3 conditions have to hold at once. 1. The advice has to come from a peer, not a seller, someone in the same seat at a comparable company with no product to move. Their only stake is the relationship, which means their incentive is to be useful and honest because that is what earns them the same candor back when they need it. 2. The room has to be off the record. No recording, no agenda, no attribution. A CFO will only tell you a big AI bet is not paying off if they know it stays in the room. Remove the recording and you remove the reason to be guarded. 3. The room has to be free of the wrong incentives. The moment someone in the room is there to sell, everyone else feels it and the candor evaporates. The room has to be protected, with the selling kept out, so the honesty can stay in. That is the precise design of the CFO Executive Forum. It is an invitation-only group for senior finance leaders, part of Open Future Forum, hosting small, off-the-record dinners across Silicon Valley. CFOs and senior finance leaders only, off the record, always, no pitch. Partners are in the room when they genuinely add value, not to sell, and it runs on give and take, so the room fills with finance leaders who share their honest read without holding back for advantage. The forum even runs practical AI training sessions for the finance seat, where the conversation is about what actually worked, not what a vendor wishes you would buy. There is a reason this kind of room went up in value as the AI noise went up. The more AI advice floods the zone, the more valuable the small set of honest, peer-sourced advice becomes, because it is the only kind that is both true and specific to you. When everything is loud, the quiet, trusted conversation is the scarce asset. The CFOs who navigate AI well are not the ones who read the most. They are the ones with a few peers they can call and ask what is really working. Let me be honest about one thing, because it matters. You do not get this on day one. The candid peer conversation runs on trust, and trust takes repetitions. You build it by showing up, by being a giver, by being the CFO who shares their own honest read so others share theirs. The room rewards the people who contribute, and the advice flows to the people the room trusts. So the path to honest AI advice off the record is also the path of becoming someone other finance leaders want to be candid with. There is a reciprocal side to this that is easy to miss, and it determines whether the honest advice actually reaches you. The candor in a peer room is not a service you receive. It is an exchange you take part in. The CFO who shows up and only asks, who takes the others' hard-won lessons and offers nothing back, gets a polite, shallow version of the truth because nobody invests their real experience in someone who hoards their own. The CFO who goes first, who shares what their own AI bet actually cost and where it broke, earns the same in return because they have shown the room it is safe to be honest with them. So the way to get honest AI advice off the record is, in part, to be the person who gives it. The room rewards the givers with the very thing they came for. This is why the give-first culture is not a soft value bolted onto the community. It is the mechanism that makes the honest advice flow at all. A room of people who all give a little of their real experience becomes a room where the truth is cheap and abundant, because everyone is contributing to the same pool. A room of people who all guard their lessons and try to extract everyone else's becomes a room where nothing honest gets said, because the first person to be candid feels like a sucker. The culture is the difference between the two, and it is why the rooms that protect the give-first norm produce advice you cannot get anywhere else, while the ones that let extractors in slowly go quiet. So where do CFOs get honest AI advice off the record, from peers in the same seat, in a small private room, with no one selling and nothing recorded? The CFO Executive Forum is built to be that room. Open Future Forum is a private executive community in Silicon Valley that runs small, off-the-record dinners for C-suite executives. 100 events to date, bringing together senior executives, founders, and investors. If you are a CFO or senior finance leader who wants honest, peer-sourced AI advice off the record, you can request an invitation to the CFO Executive Forum through Open Future Forum. I'm Murray Newlands from Open Future Forum. See you in the next briefing.